There you go. Okay, it's recording.
Over here.
It is recording?
Yep.
Over here. Mama.
Okay. All right. So, team call this week. Super quick calendar items. The only thing I really have, my group starts next week. I don't know that anyone's on this call is adding to that anyway, or that is listening to the recording. But for anyone who is still hustling to hit Success Club at the end of the month is not over until the month is over, which is at 10 p.m. East. Wait, what is it? What's our cutoff time? Tomorrow at 10.
So it's 10 p.m. our time, so
Eastern?
10 p.m. Mountain.
10 p.m. Mountain. Okay. So I know the three of us have, but if anyone listens to the recording, you can still hit Success Club. There's lots you can do. And I've hit Success Club at the end of the month before. So keep talking to people, keep inviting, follow up, post. At least you know you've given it everything you can give it. Do you have anything else you want to chat about as far as your calendar, Heidi?
I just want to say something about Success Club really quick, and then calendar-wise, I am going to be we started our sweatsuit to swimsuit this week. You guys are more than welcome to invite all of this prep week. They'll still be fine. You can tag them and start. It'll be great. I'm going to be inviting still this week. And then we're going to do a coach sneak peek next week. So I just want to say about Success Club, I was listening to some training today, and they were talking about how we always drill into you guys like Success Club, Success Club, Success Club. And so sometimes like that's all that's in your head is like, I have to get 3 people. And it gets so overwhelming because you're just obsessed with that number. And what we need to start working on is just like the things that we can control and what you need to do on a daily basis to get to Success Club. She had like the best analogy for it, and that's why I was like, oh, that's so good. I need to share that with my coaches. She said, like, if you're talking to somebody who needs to lose 100 pounds, and they're so focused on I need to lose 100 pounds, I need to lose 100 pounds, I need to lose 100 pounds, you're just going to get super overwhelmed and stressed out about, like, I need to lose 100 pounds. But if you're like, okay, well, let's just focus on the first 2. What can I do to get through the first 2? Today I can do, like, I can go for a walk. I can work on my food. I can, then it's not so overwhelming. And you can hit that too and then work on, okay, now what do I need to do to lose the next 2? So it's just something that I think we need to work on as a team is like, let's not stress that I need to find 3 people. I need to find 3 people. I need to find 3 people. But let's focus on, okay, well, if I'm struggling to find just 3 people, what am I maybe not doing that on a daily consistent basis that is bringing those people to me or helping me to show those people how much what we have is affecting my life and those around me, and controlling what you can control instead of obsessing about the long-term goal. Anyways, I just thought that was good.
I love that. And that always helps me too to break it down into actions I have control over, because I'm the same way. If I'm like, I got to hit Success Club, I just feel stressed out, especially if I'm at 0 and tomorrow's the last day of the month. Like, I just feel so overwhelmed. But if I break it down into like, okay, this is what I can do. I've got an hour. I'm going to do this X, Y, and Z. And even as I start a new month, like laying it out, you'll drive yourself crazy if you just stress out about it. Like, take action on things you can. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Okay, I'll let you.
I also wanted to just give a plug for Micah posted her Q&A that she did today in the inspiration page, and it was really good. Like, I think everyone could benefit from that. And also just a reminder that they do those mentor calls on Thursdays. And I don't know if everyone's plugging into them or not.
It's a good one this week.
Yeah, this week should be really good. She talked about it on the call. Someone who went, I don't remember her name, Heather Shipley.
Something
I don't
like
know. Someone who like signed up in, I want to say February, and she ended the year at 7-star. So, and while working full time and like a whole host of other things. And so I think that it should be really solid. Do you know, Heidi, if it's morning or night this week?
I have it, just a second, and I will tell you the exact time.
I always get confused on, or like forget when it is, but those are super solid and such a great opportunity because you can ask questions if you're on the call, and they're super helpful.
So it's
So
Heather
a good resource to have.
Shiplet. And it is, unless she spelled that wrong, but that's what it says. And then they're all together. We're all doing it together since it's a
Special speaker.
And so it's at 9 a.m. Mountain time on Thursday.
Okay.
I'll post the link Thursday when it goes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well worth listening to, though, and plugging into those if you need more training. But I loved one of the other things that Micah said is that never let training take away from doing your basic business things for your business. Because I think it's easy, especially I do this, especially if I'm in a discouraged place or down. I'll just sit and listen to training after training after training instead of just sitting down and doing my stuff. So get your stuff done and plug into the trainings that you can. So, okay. So with that being said, a little bit of training tonight. So what I wanted to talk about, and we'll have some question time at the end for Instagram questions, is just the power of sharing your story and how that can help you grow your followers, how that can help you connect with your followers, and how to share your story in an intentional way also. Because when sometimes one thing that helps me when I'm trying to think about growing and how to do that is to think about the people that I love to follow, like the people who I still, and they're not necessarily even coaches, but the people who I will still like intentionally go to their page and look at their posts and read them or watch their stories because I find them inspiring or interesting or funny or whatever. There's like, we all have people like that who we like to follow. And so thinking about what those things are about them. And I think all of them are people who I care to know what their story is. Like they've shared their life in such a way that either they've been vulnerable. And so I feel like I know them. I care what they have to share. Or maybe they shared something that had an impact on me. But either way, it's all about storytelling, and it's a great way to engage people. So I kind of want to do this like hands-on. So if you have paper to write down, so take 2 minutes or 1 minute, I don't know, and then maybe spend some more time on this later. But start by writing down, and I kind of alluded to this last week when I showed you that color wheel. Just write down a bunch of things about you. Like if I were to say, tell me about you, what are the things that you would say? So I'll tell you what I wrote down for mine, just if that is helpful to you. So I wrote down, I'm a mom of 5. I'm a brunette with a bob hairstyle. I love bright colors, especially to wear bright colors. My faith is important to me. I love to read. I love musicals and theater. I've been through infertility. I love to travel. I love to go to Disneyland. I love to bake, especially cookies. I love to eat really great food, and I really like pretty food, and I like tacos. I like home decor. I like being in the mountains or hiking. I like date nights. And then Sophie saw this list and she added amazing person. It was titled All About Me. So cute. But so just write a few things down about you real quick. I'll give you like 1 minute to do it. Just brainstorm. It's like a long minute when it's silent. Okay, so then take your list, and what I was thinking too is this is a good way to like check yourself. So what I did is I took my list and then I opened up my Instagram feed and looked at just my first page and said, if someone came to my page and looked at it, what things would they know about me? Would they be the things that are on my list? So if I look at mine from just my first page, I can see that I like fitness a lot. I can see some travel. I can see my kids. I see some tacos. If I scroll, I can see travel. So I can see some of those things, but I know I can do a little more, show a little bit more about me. And what happens to me, I get caught up, especially if I get really busy. I find myself like only posting fitness stuff, which is fine. I mean, it's clear that it's a fitness account, but I think people will be more drawn and get to know me better if they can see all of the other things about me. And I also think maybe more inclined to follow me if they can see that I'm, unless they're a fitness person, if they can see that I'm about a little bit more. And so you can also take that list and then pick a handful of them that you might showcase regularly. Like, so maybe mine will be that I'm a mom, my faith, my travel, my cookies, you know, pick the ones that I want to talk about more regularly. So people know what to expect from your brand. So that's just a really good exercise to kind of get started with, okay, what am I going to make my account about? And also a really good check to see if you're doing what you set out to do, because sometimes I have in my head who I am and what I'm doing, but then I look at my page and I'm like, well, I'm not posting all of those other things. So it's a good reminder for me. Okay, the next thing in thinking about like stories and being a storyteller, a really good way to do that is to make two lists. So one, a list of struggles that you have been through. Like what are the struggles when you think about, okay, what are the struggles that I've been through? And they can be general like life struggles, or they can be things that you've been through that Beachbody has helped you with too. So some of the things on my list were infertility, having a surprise pregnancy, like two opposite ends of the spectrum, going through a period of unemployment, high medical bills when we had a series of things happen, just feeling trapped at home with little kids who behave awfully when I go anywhere. And so it's just hard for me to get out. So feeling isolated, having the winter blues, feeling overwhelmed, you know, poor body image, being unsuccessful at weight loss when I was working hard, disappointments, like just making a list of struggles. So take a minute and write down some of yours, whatever they may be. And don't worry about having solutions for them. Just like use this time to just totally brainstorm and put down whatever struggles you can think of. Okay. Then on the flip side, we're going to do the opposite. And so the first one's called the struggle web. This one's called a pleasure web. So think of, in this one, and this one I would say think a little bit more in terms of coaching and challenge groups, or like thinking of ways that your life is blessed because of these things. So some of the things I had were finding a community, accountability, staying committed, going on fun trips, my kids seeing my example, just having resources for helping me get through my trials, finances, having a flexible job, because during this season of life, I don't think anything else would have even worked for me. Having Gabe work out with me, having my kids work out with me. So think of successes, wins, anything along those lines. Okay. And I think it's a good idea too to think outside of the box. I did mine really quick, but I think there's some other things that I can think of too. So now when having these two lists, when you sit down to write a post, think about your audience, use either a struggle or a pleasure, or, use one of those two things and use that to craft your story. For example, maybe I'm doing like a 2 snapshots in time. So here's where I was, here's what these struggles were, here's where I am now in this place, and here's how I got there. So you can relate the two. Also, I think sometimes people just want to know that other people feel some of the same things that they do. And so by sharing our struggles, either struggles that we've overcome or struggles that we're even in the middle of, to whatever level you want to share them, and then being able to put a positive spin on it. You're so cute. I think people really relate to that. Like, people want to know that you're a real person and that you struggle too, because I think it's hard to relate to someone who never struggles, seemingly. And so the more that you can weave stories around your struggles, and then also point out, here's the blessings that I'm experiencing right now, here's some of my joys, and here's how that relates to what I'm doing. And I would also say you want to relate it to coaching and challenge groups, but you can also just share too, like, you're having a bad day, here's your struggle, here's how you're shifting, and just being a positive light. Anyway, you can use these lists a lot of different ways, but I would encourage you to keep adding to them, and also continuing to craft them. And then you never run out of things to talk about, because if you're like, oh crap, what should I post about today? You can pull out your list and say, oh, I haven't talked about having a lot of medical bills for a long time. I'll talk about that. Or, oh, I haven't talked about going on vacations with my family for a while. I'll talk about that. Hold on just a second. I'm going to add to that. It's probably page. Oh, never mind. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so that's kind of the general, now I'm frozen. That's kind of the general idea. Can you guys still hear me? Even though my face is frozen? Okay. That's kind of the general idea of what I want to talk about tonight. And then I just wanted to open it up for any discussion or any questions about anything Instagram. It drives me crazy to see me frozen. How do I fix that? I did.
I don't know. Hopefully they'll fix it in a minute. Hold on, let me try.
Okay. I unplugged my phone and it went all weird.
And I can't see you at all.
Should I like X myself out and come back?
I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work.
We're having all the great technical difficulties tonight.
We for real are. It's interesting. Yeah, you're just.
Yeah, now I've disappeared off of mine too.
So funny.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll leave and come back.
Okay. Okay, well, Kamala, you're the only one here. So if you have any questions, everyone else is going to have to catch them in the threads or ask us later. Oh, look, there you are.
That's so weird. Okay, so any thoughts, comments, questions?
That was super good, Anne, by the way. Like, I was like, I always need these reminders. Like, I was just that call this morning, that I was listening to, she was talking about we always forget to go back to the basics and share our story. And I was like, I used to share a piece of my story every day, like in some way or another, and relate it to something. Like it wasn't always a call to action. And for some reason, I've gotten out of the habit of that. I think just based on the fact that it takes me time because I like to write. And so I get really into the story. I'm like, I need to get back to that because that is what brings so many people to me, like relates to us. So
yeah. The other powerful thing I think to share often is your why. I remember Jamie Fitzpatrick on a call said, share your why. It was either every week or every day. Like share why you're doing what you're doing often because people relate to that too. And there's probably a lot of reasons why.
Right. I think that's part of what we talk about. I mean, your story and whatever. There should be pieces of that that relate to why you're here.
Right.
Why you're doing what you're doing. Anyways. Okay.
All right. Any other Instagram? Kamala, did you have any specific Instagram questions?
Or you just want help?
I'm just not very Instagram savvy, so I'm like, they all look the same because I don't know how to add like the little color blocks or like the technical stuff when I do my stories and stuff. I'm like, that looks the same as yesterday and the day before and every day.
Which isn't terrible. People like to see routine. Like, I would say a couple things on stories. I'll add a couple things and then Heidi throw in stuff too.
Yeah.
So on stories, make sure you talk on your stories sometimes because people want to get to know you. So make sure you're using your voice, and it doesn't have to be like tons and tons and tons of snippets, but people want to get to know you so definitely talk on your stories. And there's all kinds of fancy apps and stuff, but I would learn basic Instagram stories before you start adding in other things. And I would say the stuff I do the most, I'm kind of boring too, actually. I talk, I use polls, and polls are really good just for like engaging. You do that too. I've seen some of your stories. Sometimes I add music, but if it's going to take me a long time, it's not always worth it, I think.
Well, and the reason I don't really add music half the time is because then you have to do a whole different story for your Facebook instead of like lately I've been doing one and it shares to both and I'm done. I don't have to mess with it. And if you add music, then it won't share to Facebook too.
Oh, that's a good point.
And I'm like, oh, that's annoying. I don't have time for this.
I rarely put music on mine just because of that fact. Because it's like, if I do, it's like, this is basically just going to stay on IG. Like, it's just for Instagram. Because it won't.
And I probably definitely need to talk more. I think sometimes though, like I'll watch some other people that I'm like, okay, you've talked now for like 15 frames. What are you even talking about?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
You have to be careful. In some respects, I'm kind of sad that the hands-free doesn't stop after 15 seconds because it would keep you keeping your messages short when you couldn't just talk for tons of things. Yeah, so it's good to be concise.
You can still see it. And the rule of thumb, at least from what I've always heard and from what I can handle when I'm watching other people, is I always try to keep it to like 3 or 4. If I even get to 5, I'm like, oh, I pushed it. I might want to try again unless I'm short on time. And then I'm like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But
I would agree with that.
But yeah, I wouldn't do more than that.
Okay, I'll start talking more. But yeah, lately, like my entire everybody has been local girls that are like, what's going on?
Which is good. Your warm market's been awesome because you already have such a good reach there. So like, it's not a bad thing. Like, it's been really good. We just need to be ready for when your warm market runs out.
Yeah, and that's what scares me is I'm like, when I run out of the local girls, then I'm gonna be like, oh boy.
But you'll be good. I mean, you're already in the habit of like sharing and that, which is good because it takes some people forever to get to that point. I don't know why, but it just does. So I mean, you're in a good habit. You're doing really well at like following a calendar and like inviting to what I'm inviting to, which is also really solid. So it's just a matter of getting your reach where you want it and finding new people to start conversations and stuff with. So yeah, I would just be really relatable and be focused on growing your Instagram as much as you can right now while you still have your warm market, so that when you need to start tapping into that other stuff, you've already grown it. Like it's not going to be a big stressful thing. Does that make sense?
I noticed if I use like just 1 or 2 hashtags lately and try to be super diligent about what those hashtags are, I get some more followers that aren't.
6.5. That where are the girls?
Whoa, creeps.
No, I dropped them off at the.
Oh, Emily's frozen.
Hold on, I have to take care of something really fast.
Oh, I'll do it. Okay, there we go. Okay, go on. Anyways, what were you saying?
So yeah, I just have been trying to use like 1 or 2 hashtags to try to grow it, because I don't know. Sometimes how do you know for sure that they're even following you back until they like something, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is what I do. I mean, there's a couple different, like, you can pay for growth if you really want to and you don't want it on your plate at all. And I did that for a while because I was so maxed out on time. So if that's something you want to look into, we can share those. I think you can try Stim Social free for a week, and that could probably help you grow a couple hundred just by trying it for a week. But I honestly don't stress the follow backs because I can't. So I would get an unfollow app so that you aren't following like a bajillion people and having to figure out who you followed and who didn't follow you back. Emily uses a really good one. But then, like I said, I would just do the target accounts, and I would just take like 10 minutes and I would seriously put on a timer, go to your target account, and just like friend a bunch of people on there.
Okay, that's what I've been doing. And then I've been like finding the ones that I really like and going through and like liking some of their pictures. And then I've been like, if I do notice that they've followed me back, I send them the follow message. And I mean, I get messages like, oh my gosh, I love how much you run. I love blah, 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 blah. And then I'll start talking to them about coaching, and they're like, oh, I'm so set on my running workouts. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
See, and I got that forever too. So like, if that's your market, then start speaking to that. Like if you're getting a ton of runners because you like to run, and that's where I started. When I started, I wasn't doing Ninja. I was just running, and I was doing my training for marathons and stuff like that and cross training with it. So I talked about, like, I would show my runs and connect with run people. And then I would just talk about how, like, I don't know how I survived when all I used to do was just run, because I like gained a ton of weight and I just thought I would be fine because I'm burning tons of calories, but I wasn't like getting any muscle. And then I was talking about how different I felt running once I was like building my leg muscles versus when I was just running, and like how much my time improved. I talk about nutrition and how that affects my runs. Like, talk to it, speak to it, because honestly, most runners, like, I'm sure tons of them would eventually come to you, but they just don't know. Like, I had no idea when I was running that I needed to do those things or that they would make a difference. I didn't know. Honestly, when I started running, it was like, this is cheap. I just put on my tennis shoes and I can go outside and it's good therapy and I don't need anyone, but it wasn't helping me.
Yeah.
So just things like that. Like, think about why you like it and what you would have benefited knowing about like a year ago or whatever running. Because I didn't know.
Does the performance line speak to runners?
Yeah, a lot.
So,
And I just got the Hydrate like the end of last week. I think I used it Friday on my run for the first time. And I was talking to that girlfriend of mine that runs with me all the time, and I'm like, dude, our hammer is $60 a container. like $60. I just paid, I don't know, it was like $32 for this thing of hydrate. Like, I'm not gonna pay for Hammer. It doesn't do anything different. And
Right.
I told her, I was like, you can pay for it, but I'll order you some off my account at the discount and you can try it. And so I ordered her a thing of hydrate and she was like, you're right. I've been drinking it all day. It's just the same.
For real.
I don't know.
So that's the thing. Like we've been talking about like at the Ninja Gym and stuff. It's like all those people like hammer down 5-hour energies before they work out, and it drives me nuts. So I've been even saying like, oh, maybe I need to like just bring in our mini fridge and put waters in the front and be like, are you cool if I just leave some samples here with my business card and they pay $1 and they can have a water and try this before they work out instead of, or just like simple things. So maybe having the hydrate samples just on hand for when you're running with people, I think you can get like a small sample pack of them. So you don't have
I
to
did. It was like a 10-pack. I got it to bring to Ragnar just because I didn't want to take the whole containers of everything.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, we were doing training today because we have swim team meet coming up and I have to be the safety marshal, and the coach and I were doing all the training, and it was like pushing Gatorade and Powerade, and I'm like, I don't let my kids drink either one of those because they're disgusting. So
crap.
yeah, I was like, maybe for swim meet I'll just get a bunch of those little waters and put a little bit of the scoops of hydrate in it, and then
and put like a card or whatever if you want to get more. Here's how you contact me. Or yeah, I think that's an awesome idea. We talked about this like a year ago, but I was thinking about doing a running group for a long time, like opening one in the challenge tracker where they could just post their runs and then using the performance line, and then we could just talk about like what we're cross training with or whatever, like just make it a running community instead of like a normal challenge tracker group. Because I think that could be really successful for a lot, like even if you did it on Facebook as well, especially with a big running group.
I need to talk about recover more too without being like, because I forgot to take mine Friday after that like 7.5 miles, and I was like, oh my legs, they're broke. I'm pretty sure they're broke.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, so I don't know. That's something maybe you and I could talk about because I have a lot of runners that follow me, and I just feel like the performance line is so good. Like I don't care if you don't want to use the workouts, but maybe we can have like a performance line community, and they can talk about the races that they're training for and cheer each other on, and then use the performance line.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It's something that we could definitely look into because it wouldn't be hard to like manage. Like we wouldn't really have to post a whole lot in there, but your ticket to getting in would be either like a performance challenge pack or a performance auto ship or whatever. We could figure that out. But I do think that could be really successful. I mean, hello, they're like, what is it? The Ironman's official supplements or whatever are all our supplements. So they're really good. It's not like they're crap. So definitely something we could talk about. Okay, sweet. We can talk about IG more in our thread and stuff too, as you're like going through stuff. Don't feel like you can't ask questions. I've learned a lot, like just messing around with it. I feel like.
I think that's honestly the best way to learn about it is just playing and trying things, see how they work. If it's a flop and it's on your stories, it disappears after 24 hours or you can delete it. So
true.
No big deal.
Very true.
Some things work, some don't. So agreed. Sorry, I had to check out there for a minute. I
You're good.
To the wrong soccer field and Paige's game's already started.
All right.
I still haven't gotten my tank top.
You gotta be kidding me. Did you get an email?
Yeah, like I got the little email that was like, hey, claim your thing. do your size, enter your coach's number, blah, blah, blah.
Did you get a tracking email? Like, they should send you an email that says it's shipped, and then you should have a tracking number. But if not, I would for sure email them and be like, I sent this in like a month ago, and I haven't even heard that it's shipped.
Okay,
They'll
because
send you out
I
the-
don't think I've seen anything about it being shipped. So
Yeah, because I seriously would email them and be like, I haven't seen it shipped. It's been like a month. I'm on my month 3 of Success Club. You should be sending me my other one soon. So I need to know where this is at.
I need to make time to do listen to that thing I got to.
Oh, your Success Starter call. Yeah,
Yeah.
just turn it on when you're running or when you're in the car. Like, that's like the only time I swear I have time to listen to stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm going for a drive for a half hour. I should turn something on. But
Yeah. The only problem is here, half the places I drive, I don't have service.
Oh. Yeah, we have a couple of those, but not too many. Yeah, that's true. That makes it
Because
cheaper.
like the junction, it's an hour and a half drive, but I maybe have service for 20 minutes of it.
That's frustrating. Well, it should still work with your Audible because you like download the book, so you can get your PD in. But yeah, that's frustrating because you could get a lot of training in during that.
No.
I'll have to figure something out. Okay. Any other questions? You guys are awesome. Our time must have thrown people.
Clearly it did. I thought we'd be okay. Sorry.
You're good. I know Jess
Now
is.
we know not to change it.
So,
Next time we have conflict, I'll just swap weeks with you.
yeah,
So.
figure it out.
It's weird, though.
It's all good. We live and learn. This is how we figure it out.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Hey, well, thanks you guys for hopping on. You're my rock stars. Okay, talk to you guys later.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Bye.